Can you hear me? Yeah, great. Well, it's an incredibly great privilege for me to be here in Hong Kong today, and this is my very first experience of being in Hong Kong. So thank you very much, particularly to Fairtrade Hong Kong for making that happen. It's also incredibly exciting for me to be here at your very first Fairtrade Fortnight. And the reason I believe I'm here is because for us in the UK, Fairtrade Fortnight has played a really crucial role in us developing the fair trade movement in the UK. So I know that you're at the start of an incredibly exciting journey, and wish you an awful lot of luck with that. I'm obviously the CEO of Cafédirect, and from Cafédirect's early beginnings back in the UK in 1991, we are now in the UK as a fair trade set of brands and products. We're now an £800 million operation, which I think, given that you're all at the start of this journey, shows you the incredible potential that exists to make enormous change to the lives of people living in developing countries, and also the lives of people who live in so-called developed countries, because actually it's about everybody. We're all living in an incredibly interconnected world, and I don't really see this as about developed countries doing things to so-called developing countries. I really do think this is actually about enhancing everybody's lives. So the UK at this stage is now the UK's the largest fair trade nation in the world. And that's something that feels really great to be part of. And we are selling a range of products as a movement which is spanning from coffee, tea and cocoa that we specialise in currently at Cafédirect, to everything like rubber gloves and cotton products as well. So fair trade has no boundaries, really, and really we can say in the UK now that fair trade is truly mainstream. So it has moved from being quite a niche activity that has been able to influence the way trade is fundamentally done across large organisations. And a testament to that is the fact that we now have organisations like Cadbury's, like Starbucks, and very large retailers like Sainsbury's who adopt a 100% fair trade approach to many of their categories. I actually believe that in the UK we will very soon have an acceptance that paying a minimum price to a producer of any kind of agricultural product in a developing country is just a basic way to do business. In exactly the same way that if you look at the fact that the European minimum wage is entirely accepted, I've never heard anybody actually questioning that. So we're really not very far off that happening. And that is part of the exciting journey that you're embarking on. So where did all of this start in the UK, and how has it happened? Well, for me, what's absolutely astounding and dramatically life-changing for me is that Cafédirect really was right there at the start of this movement, because we pre-exist fair trade standards, the fair trade mark in the UK. So a little bit of our history is, I think, probably quite relevant to how you get this thing moving. So looking at how Cafédirect got started, we began back in 1991 following the collapse of the World Coffee Agreement. And at this stage, there were 3 organisations in Peru, Mexico and Costa Rica who were coffee-growing organisations, small-scale coffee-growing organisations. And what I mean by small-scale is farmers who probably grow coffee in an area that is about a lot smaller than this room. So I would say anything from half the size of this room to possibly something slightly larger. And these coffee growers, when the world coffee price collapsed, found themselves in a position where it was very difficult to survive, and they sent 3 containers of coffee over to the UK on loan. And the 4 founding development organisations of Cafédirect played a crucial role in helping set up an organisation. And what happened was Cafédirect was born, and we began to sell our products at the back of church halls, through market stalls, and really very much from grassroots organisations and very much probably related to all of you here today. You know, what you have the potential to do is start a process which is all about a grassroots movement. And following that, we were then able to find our way into supermarkets. These guys are never easy to deal with, so that's a crucial part of the journey and the transition, but is also a really important part of growing a brand and a business, and also the fair trade scope. Now, what we believe in Cafédirect is that, in fact, fair trade, whilst it's absolutely crucial because it provides the guarantee of a minimum price to a consumer, is just the starting point. Because what we believe in is direct relationships with growers, and it's all about a partnership. And so at this stage, we're now working with over 250,000 small-scale farmers in 14 different developing countries, and we're supplying the very, very highest quality products, which is actually crucial for us because it's this partnership, this combination of quality, excellence in product, that makes Cafédirect the most delicious coffee, tea and cocoa brand. And it's that consumers really want to buy, and if we ever forgot that, then we would be nowhere. So we've gone from those roots where we were sold in the back of church halls to now being in fine dining establishments in Michelin-starred restaurants like Michael Caines' restaurants, who many of you I'm sure won't know, but we're sort of sponsored by the most revered chefs in the UK, which is very exciting. And we're also in places in the workplace, like the head office of Google, for example. So plenty of tea and coffee being drunk in the workplace, and that's a really crucial opportunity for a grassroots movement, and something that we would love to be able to replicate over here in Hong Kong and the rest of Asia at some point. So I'm very proud to say that just as we began from small-scale beginnings in the UK, and we're now a £20 million organisation, we have started from small beginnings in Hong Kong, and we do hope that this is just the start of something much greater in this part of the world too. Now, one thing I'd just like to talk about is this idea of the fair trade minimum price and how our model works. Because what we have is this direct from the growers model, which means that not only do we work in partnership with growers, we're reinvesting back profits from the organisation into those grower organisations to strengthen them. So this is based on the idea that trade rather than aid is fundamental to moving forward the concept of development. So for us, this a balanced approach to sustainable businesses is represented by this direct from the growers model. At this stage, we are working with over 250,000 small-scale farmers, and we're working in tea, coffee and cocoa. And over the next 5 years, we want to double that impact and to impact on 3 million lives, because what we know is that when we can extend our reach and operation to more grower communities, then that has a snowball effect out into the wider communities, because there's greater economic prosperity, and that just expands and expands, and it influences governments and the way they spend money and all sorts of other parties. For us, arriving in Hong Kong and strengthening the partnerships that we have here with all of you and building Cafédirect here is hopefully a way of us expanding that impact and getting to our 3 million impact. So we're very, very excited to be here, and for me to experience this in the last week has been absolutely tremendous.